welcome to the first instalment of the June Cancer Research event, which is 30 minutes of yoga for 30 days. I'm filming here at my little I Am Yoga studio with the lovely Lynn, Sharon and Heather, who've kindly volunteered to help me this morning. So we're going to be doing one of these a week for June, and you can take part in just one session, or you can use each weekly session every day to fulfill your 30 minutes of yoga for 30 days. If you've got sore knees, make sure you've got a little blanket or a cushion handy just to help you. Other than that, just see how you feel, take it easy, listen to your body, and most importantly, have fun. So we're going to start seated today in any comfortable position. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. You can take your feet out or you can sit on a chair. And we're going to start just by grounding ourselves down, taking some deep breaths. You can close the eyes down if that's comfortable. Hands anywhere that feels good for you. Just to connect to our breath, connect to the earth below, and just see how we feel this morning or this evening, however it is you're doing it. So as you breathe here, feel the breath making space in your bodies. Feel a big expansion across the front of your body as you inhale, and allow the shoulders and the neck to really release on your exhale. With every breath out, connect to the earth below. And just paying attention to your breath, even just for a minute or two each day, is going to give you a big immune boost. It's going to help quieten your mind. You don't have to be at home to do this. Just driving, feeling the steering wheel, feeling your feet on the floor wherever you are, and just noticing your breath is all you need to do. And we're now going to take our hands just below our collarbones. Excuse me. So just somewhere on your chest. So with the forefingers, we're going to pat the chest whilst we're still connected to that breath. So you can alternate the fingers, or you can do two together, whatever works for you, but feel the vibration of those fingertips gently tapping on the chest while you take your deep breaths. And if there are any worries in your mind, or the mind is a little noisier than you want it to be, that's absolutely fine. Try not to judge that, but use the tapping and use your breath to just diffuse whatever sensations might be there. I'm going to do 3 more breaths here. And taking your final breath with your tapping and just releasing your hands and noticing how you feel. Opening the eyes if they are closed. And we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. If your shoulders are sore, you can walk your hands forward. If your knees are sore, you can place padding underneath them. We're going to start in what we call child's pose. So taking the knees a little bit wider, bringing your feet together, and then sitting your bum back. Arms can be nice and relaxed. And we're just going to gently take the forehead to the floor, or to a cushion, a bolster. You can even place your fists underneath your head if it doesn't come all the way to the floor. And just breathe here. And this is going to start to stretch out your lower back, your hips maybe. Don't ever do anything that doesn't feel right for you. You can lay on your tummies if you need. Just some lovely deep breaths. And we're going to start to work into the sides of the body as you maybe stretch your hands in front of you, and you're going to walk them over to the right side of the mat. So you haven't moved your knees and your hips, just your hands, and see if you can feel a big stretch right across the left side of the body, the left armpit. So you can feel lovely Heather's doing it here. We're looking for that big stretch all across her left side. At the same time, she's trying to breathe deeply into her ribs. And then the exhale, sitting the bum back a little more. And then we're going to bring it back to centre, check that we feel okay before we walk the hands over to the left. And the same thing again, really pushing the bum back, relaxing the head and neck as much as you can, and looking for that big stretch underneath the right armpit, all across the right side. And using your breath to find space, taking those lovely big inhales and slow soft exhales. And then bringing it back to centre. You're going to come back onto your hands and knees, and we're going to take some spinal flexions and extensions. So we're going to start by lifting the bum, push the ground away with the hands. As you lift the tailbone, drop your belly and lift the chest. We inhale here. Then we tuck the bum under and push the ground away and round the back. Maybe exhale. Inhale to lift the bum, drop the belly. And exhale to round. And as you inhale and lift, make sure we haven't lifted the chin too far so that you're squishing the back of your neck. And just moving with your breath. Last time. And then finding a neutral spine so you haven't tucked the tail or lifted it somewhere in between. And then we're going to take the knees back and come onto our tummy. So we're going to take our first back bend. So we're going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, hands in front of the elbows. Now listen to your back. If this is too strong, you can just lay with your head on your hands. And we're going to keep this nice and safe by squeezing the bum, pushing the pelvis into the ground below. And use the elbows to push the ground away and maybe lift through the chest and the throat. So you might feel a bit of a stretch across the front of the body, but we're working our back muscles. Really lengthening the feet away from you. You're on the tops of your toes, so you haven't tucked them under. And every time you inhale, feel your breath filling up through your belly. And the exhale, maybe making a little bit more space in the chest. One more breath. And then taking the chest down, pushing up onto your hands and knees. Knees wide, and take a child's pose gently, because you're coming into a forward fold here, just taking a little bit of a stretch. You don't have to keep still. You can wiggle and rock and do whatever your spine feels comfortable doing. One more deep breath. And then coming back onto your tummies. And you can stay with that first option, which Heather at the front here is going to do. So Heather's going to take some of the less difficult modifications today. So Heather's going to stay with that first option. If you'd like to increase the intensity, you're going to bring the hands by the chest. Keep the gaze down so the back of the neck is long. Send your feet away from you so you can feel the tops of the toenails on the floor. Maybe as you push the tops of the toenails in the floor, the knees come off just a little. And then roll in, the shoulders back and down, squeezing the elbows to the centre of the ribs. And this is Cobra pose. So you haven't straightened your arms. If anything, you're keeping the bend and squeezing the elbows to the centre. This is a lot more intense. And you're trying to breathe, which is really difficult. 2 more breaths. If it gets too much, you just take it down. Well done. And then pushing up into your hands and knees. Knees wide, let's just take a child's pose for a couple of breaths here. Noticing the difference now, how child's pose feels after those 2 back bends. Maybe it feels a little differently, maybe you can feel your heart rate, maybe you can feel the energy building. Coming back onto your hands and knees, and we're going to come into our first downward dog. We're going to do it safely by pushing the heel of the hands into the floor, rounding the upper back, tucking the toes, and then lifting the bum into the air, and sending the weight right back. And if this gets too much at any point, then you can just drop your knees, listen to your body. You can start to wiggle your bum, bending one knee, then the other, finding your comfortable downward dog. And then we're going to start to warm up through the shoulders a little more. We're going to bring the weight forward, shoulders over the wrists into plank, tummies in tight. If this is too much, drop the knees. And then downward dog. And then come forward into a plank. And then downward dog. Well done, last one. Come forward into a plank. Downward dog. And take one last stretch through your armpits, and we're going to walk our feet gently to the top of the mat. You might have to come onto your tiptoes with your fingertips, Hold the opposite elbows, and you're just going to dangle here. So big breaths, feel the weight on the ends of the elbows, feel the weight on top of your head as gravity pulls you down. We haven't locked those knees, there's a slight bend in those knees. Release your hands, feel the ground underneath your feet, pull your tummy in, pull in your pelvic floor, which is when you're trying to stop yourself having a wee. Tense your butt muscles and slowly bring yourselves up. Let's keep going, right, raise the hands all the way to the ceiling. And hands to your heart. Okay? Good. So let's do some sun salutations. So starting at the front of your mats, we'll go nice and slowly for the first round. And then we may speed up just a little. Take it at your own pace. If you get lost or tired, just come into that child's pose like we did at the start of the class. Inhale, rise up. As you exhale, you're going to fold through slightly bent legs and let the head be heavy. Walk your hands up your thighs, roll your shoulders back, take a half lift. And on your exhale, you're going to take a plank pose, or you can drop your knees if that's too much for you. Dropping the knees now, then we take a little bend of the elbows and bring the weight forward into what we call a chaturanga. Push the ground away, shoulders back, lift the chest and take a back bend. Then you can come back into child's pose or you can tuck the toes, downward dog. And breathe here. If this gets too much, just drop your knees, but enjoy your breath. Keep connected to your breath. Feel it in your belly. Feel the expansion in the ribs, and the exhale, feel it making space all down the back of your body. Last one. And then you're going to bend your knees, sit your bum back, and step or jump to the top of your mat. Let the head go and be nice and heavy. Walk up your thighs as you lift your bum, lift your chest, roll the shoulders back to your half lift. And a deeper fold here as you let yourself. Push the ground away, rise up, inhale, and hands to the heart. Okay, let's see if we can do one move per breath. Inhale, and exhale, fold, weight is in your toes. Half lift as you lift your bum and your chest. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale, take your little press up, weight comes forward. Inhale, take your back bend, shoulders back. Exhale, downward dog, 3 breaths. Looking amazing, well done. Keep breathing, keep connected. Feel the earth under your feet and your hands. Gorgeous. Last inhale. Now, on the next inhale, you're going to bend the knees, sit the bum back like you're going to pounce, and step or jump to the top of your mat. Let the head be heavy. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, take your deeper fold. Rise up. And hands to the heart. Last round, inhale before we start adding on. Exhale, fold. Take that half lift. And take your plank pose. Inhale here. And exhale, take a little press up. Push the ground away. And downward dog. Amazing. 3 breaths. So keep those hands nice and rooted down. Tummy tucked under the ribs, really pulling in the tummy. Send the thighs to the back of the room. And if you need to wiggle and make space, then you can do that. Next, inhale, sit the bum back, bend the knees. Come to the top of your mat. Let the head be heavy. Half lift, weight is in the toes. And fold through straight legs if you wish. Rise up. Hands to the heart. We're going to add on this time. So let's keep flowing. Inhale. And exhale, fold. It's warm in here, isn't it? Lovely. And take your plank pose. Take your chaturanga. And take your back bend. Downward dog. Well done. Okay, you can drop your knees like Heather has done, or from here you're going to lift your right foot into the air. You can step your right foot to your right hand, or you can drop your left knee first. Either way, you're going to finish with your right foot at the front of your mat and your left knee down, pushing the front foot and the back knee down to lift yourself up to your crescent lunge. As you can see at the back here, Sharon has got a sponge underneath her knee. Please do that with a cushion or blanket if you need. If your back feels okay and your shoulders, you can lift the arms up. So we're just going to breathe here, and you can do that with your hands in the chest like Heather has done. So the inhale is here, the exhale just takes the elbows wide, and then the inhale lifts up. So Heather, your inhale will be here, and your exhale you can just open your arms like a book. Well done. So let's see how that feels between your inhale and your exhale. And you're keeping your hips coming forward. You're keeping your tummy in and just making all of this space around your chest and your shoulders. Your next inhale, stay there, because your exhale takes you to the downward dog. Or hands and knees, whatever feels good. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And we're going to try that on the other side. So you can drop your right knee first, or lifting the left foot into the air, and then stepping the left foot to the left hand. Dropping the right knee, rooting down. Make sure you're really strong through the foot and the back knee and the back foot as you lift up to your crescent lunge. Hands can stay at the heart if you wish. Working with your breath, you don't have to be in time with me or anyone else. Your inhale is here and your exhale opens. Everyone breathes at a different rate, so do what feels right for you, but keep strong and supported around your hips and your bottom so that we're not making our lower backs vulnerable. Gorgeous. And on your next inhale, you're going to stay there, and then your exhale will take you to your downward dog. Noticing now how this position feels, whichever position you are in, you're a lot warmer, you've been connecting to that breath. Notice how body and mind feel. As you bend your knees, sit your bum back, gaze forward, and come to the top of your mat. Let the head be heavy. Half lift. Deeper forward. And rise up. Hands to the heart, absolutely gorgeous. Let's keep going. Inhale and fold. Half lift and plank pose. Inhale here and take your breath up. Push the ground away and downward dog. Okay, so again you can come onto your knees for this. Otherwise you're going to lift your right leg into the air and you're going to step it to your right hand. Keep the left foot, the back toes tucked as you come up to a high lunge or with the knee down. We're going to breathe here. And you're going to work to bring the hips forward and lift through the chest. You don't have to lift the arms, whatever feels right for you. And you're breathing. And maybe you can pop the back heel down and come to a warrior one. Front leg is bent and you're pushing into the little toe edge of your back foot. The back leg is nice and strong and your back butt cheek is activating you. Okay, wrapping the hands behind and clasping. So if this is not comfortable, you can keep the hands in front. You can take hold of the opposite elbows, or you can interlock your fingers and squeeze your shoulder blades back. And you're breathing. And if that feels okay, trying to keep the shoulders back, maybe you can fold. Doesn't have to be a deep fold. Just work to keep the shoulders back, away from those ears. Well done. Amazing. Bring your hands down. Step back, downward dog. Big breaths, connect to it. Feel the breath inflating the body. The exhale, letting you be relaxed and soft. Let's lift the left leg. And then you're bringing that to your left hand, or you can keep the knee down. Stay on the toes of the back foot as you squeeze your lower body to rise up and make space in the upper body. High lunge. Well done. And if your back doesn't like this, you can bring your hands down, you can drop a knee. And let's see how Warrior One feels. And all we're going to do is spin the back foot so the back heel is down. If it's too much, you can always walk your back foot in a little bit. Listen to the body. And maybe we can clasp. This time, the other little finger goes on the bottom. So whichever way you clasped before, take the other little finger down. It might feel a bit weird. Squeeze the shoulder blades like you've got a pencil between your shoulder blades. Keep breathing, it's challenging. And keeping the shoulders back, maybe you can fold. Listen to your body. Big breaths. Well done. Keep the spine long, long, long. So you haven't squidged all of your belly. The spine is nice and long, like you're bringing the crown of the head forward. Last breath. And downward dog. Well done. Let's inhale, sit the bum back, and then come to the front of your mat. Let the head be heavy. Half lift, and a deeper fold. And rise up. Hands to the heart. Are we warm enough? It's really warm. The pressure of the camera. Inhale. And exhale. Half lift. This is our last sequence now as you take your plank pose. Take your chaturanga. And inhale, back bend, shoulders back away from the ears. Downward dog. So stay on the knees if you wish, or lift the right leg into the air and step it through to the right hand, following Heather if you'd like to take the modification. Rise up, high lunge. And drop the back heel to Warrior One, just like we did in the first round. Taking the hands behind, clasping the fingers, lifting through the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades back, and maybe fold just a little so the chest is parallel to the floor if that's where you're going. Keep breathing. Undo your hands so your arms are flying to the sides, and maybe you can start to walk your back foot in or tuck in the back toes and see how a little balance feels here. And you need to gaze at a point on the floor that isn't moving, pull your tummy in tight and enjoy the strength work in that standing leg. Start bending through your front leg, take a big step back and turn to face the long edge of your mat. Your toes are out, your heels are in, and you're in goddess pose. So you're trying to roll to the little toe edge, you're trying to create an arch on the inside. If this hurts your hips, you can come into a bit of a squat here. Now, sometimes the hips don't like being open. If you want to go a little bit deeper, the hands can come forward, or we can lift the arms up. And breathe. We want to hold the breath here. So let's really make space. Keep the bum tucking under and keep the chest lifting. One more breath. And then let's come to the other side. So what would have been the back side of your mat, and step back to a downward dog. Big breaths. Well done. Let's lift the left leg this time, or you can stay on your hands and knees. and step that left foot to the left hand. Keep the back toes tucked and come up into a high lunge. I know it's a balance, I know you won't then. Well done. Drop in the back heel, warrior one. If your legs are too wide, just walk the back foot in. Why don't we start filming this way? Because we can see each other in the mirror. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Clasping with the other little finger on the bottom. And then lifting through the chest. And taking your fold. Remember to keep lengthening through the chest, through the spine, just so the chest comes parallel. Tummy's in. One more breath. Flying the arms out. Walking your back foot in. And fly. Gazing at a point that isn't moving. Tummy in nice and tight. Feel the big toe of that standing foot in the floor. And breathe. And slowly bending the standing legs. Stepping back. Turning onto your long edge of your mat. Taking your goddess pose. Or any version of this. You can always bring the knees closer and work with a wide-legged squat, whatever works for you. Nearly there. And then bringing it to the original side of your mat. Downward dog. Let's drop the knees, take them really wide, feet together, child's pose. Notice how you feel here now. The body's nice and warmed up. You've been doing those lovely deep breaths. And bringing yourself onto your bottoms. So we can face forward if you wish. Wow. It is warm, isn't it? I'm putting the fans on, aren't you? Okay.
We're working hard.
That's what it is. Or is it something
The
on
modifications aren't equally as hard, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Definitely. So let's bend the knees, bring the feet in, and then even just sitting up nice and tall here might well be enough for you. If your back isn't happy, you can bring your hands behind you, you can keep the hands on the legs. You're going to go as far as you want to go with this. You can start to hover your feet off the floor. You can let go of the legs, you can always place the hands behind you if you need. So you're instantly now working your tummy and the front of the thighs. You can start to bring your feet in line with your knees. Try and keep the neck and shoulders relaxed and you're breathing. If you need a break, excuse me, please take one. Good deep breaths. And you're in boat pose.
Wobbly boat pose.
Wobbly boats. Boats move in the sea. So we're just moving. Wobbly boats. 2 more breaths. Well done, and bringing it down. Let's take the feet out in front and just let it go. If you need space, you can take the feet a little wider. You can relax the feet out, or you can keep it more active here. You don't have to hold on, but you're not trying to get your forehead to your knees, because as you dip your chin, that's just going to pull your back slightly. So you're trying to bring the chest forward, and you're breathing. Gorgeous breath work. One more. And then bringing it all the way back. Coming to the long edge of the mat. Let's lay down and bring the knees into the chest. Take the arms nice and wide. And you're just going to let the knees come all the way to the left. You're going to gaze over the right if your neck's okay. Take the knees and feet as far down the mat as you need to decrease any stress in the hip, or you can take them high. Inhaling into the front of the body and exhale, focusing on your right shoulder. On really opening the chest and melting as much of the back of the body onto the floor as you can get. And bring it back to centre. Feel your spine on the floor and going the other way when you're ready. And this time, every into that left shoulder. Of course, you can close the eyes down. Just trying to let the body go. We've been working it, we've been activating. So use your breath to let go of any tension. Allow your body to relax and come back into its healing state. As you bring your knees back to centre, laying yourselves nice and flat. Elbows away from the body. You can have your hands by your side, palms up, or bring them back onto your tummy, whatever feels right for you. Make space in the neck. You can take your head from side to side. And you can close the eyes down if that's comfortable. And start relaxing the skin across your forehead, letting your eyes be lovely and heavy. Relaxing your teeth and your jaw. Allowing your throat to completely let go. And the shoulders, the arms, down across your back and your chest. Scanning your body as you travel down your ribs and your bellies. Your lower back is as grounded as it can be into the floor. Your bottoms and your hips are nice and heavy. And feel the muscles in your legs just letting go. All the way across your knees, letting your feet relax in whatever position is comfortable. And notice how you feel. And then from here, you are just going to turn onto your right side. Just nice and gently bringing it over. And gently sitting yourselves up. I know that relaxation was quite short. Just bring yourselves to top of the mat. If you want to stay laying down, please do so. 30 minutes goes super quick. You can keep the eyes closed if you wish. Let's bring the hands to the heart centre. Keep that connection with your breath and feel really, really proud of the time and space you've just given to you and your practice. Bowing your heads, bringing your thumbs to your forehead. Thank you so much for joining us for this first week of our lovely cancer research. 30 minutes of yoga for 30 days. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.